Tonight, a federal judge openly frustrated and skeptical in court as the Trump administration tries to avoid turning over information about what it's doing to, quote unquote, facilitate. That's what the Supreme Court said they had to do when it comes to the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He is the man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. The judge questioning why Trump officials are out publicly saying Abrego Garcia will never return to the United States when they have been ordered to bring him back. Abrego Garcia's attorney tells the judge, quote, "My head is spinning. They've told us nothing. Zero." Out front now, Simon Sandoval-Moshenberg, Abrego Garcia's attorney. Simon, I'm glad to see you again. So, okay, just cutting through all of this, are you confident right now that Abrego Garcia will ever come back to the United States?
It's very difficult to say what the government is doing precisely because they haven't given us any information. Unfortunately, I do have to confess that they've been effective at stonewalling, but hopefully with with the ruling that the judge is going to issue after today's hearing, that's going to end. They've given us nothing at all. They've given us a sum total of 5 sentences of information as to the steps that they've been taking to carry out the Supreme Court's order that they return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States. And meanwhile, at the same time, all of the defendants in the case, Kristi Noem, Rubio, Bondi, are all going on TV every chance they get to say that they're not going to bring him back to the United States. Yeah. So that's what we were in court today to make sure that the judge ordered.
And so, you know, they keep saying that, which, I mean, certainly from a perspective of are they doing anything to facilitate seems to answer that question. They were told by the Supreme Court to facilitate his return. Now, whatever semantical games people want to play about nuance and definition, they're clearly not doing that. And the judge took on Trump's lawyers today and said that they weren't actually even providing depositions from people who had personal knowledge of any efforts that had been made to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return. The judge actually said, "I don't know how long it took my law clerks to count up all the, quote, I don't knows in these depositions." So, I mean, is it fair to say this is a game, that they're literally putting out lawyers who literally don't know any of the background conversations so that they can say they don't know and not be lying and prevent this from moving forward?
They are playing a game. They have been playing this game since day one. But by playing this game in this one case, they're losing the broader war. The Supreme Court today ruled 7-2 that the Venezuelans who the government is trying to deport under the Alien Enemies Act have to have a whole lot more due process. And the reason for that is that once they get deported, we can't bring them back. I mean, the U.S. government, the judiciary usually gives the U.S. government a tremendous amount of benefit of the doubt. That's been completely squandered, and we're now only, 3-4 months into the administration.
So the context for this now at DHS, I don't know if you've heard this, Simon, probably not with everything you've been dealing with, but CNN is learning that DHS is considering a reality TV show. And in this show, immigrants would be competing for potential U.S. citizenship. So it'd be a reality TV bake-off to get that prize. They would compete in challenges, we understand, like mining gold in San Francisco, a pizza challenge here in New York, to find out who is the quote-unquote most American. Now, DHS spokeswoman tells CNN that there is a show pitch, it is being vetted, but that Kristi Noem herself has not reviewed it or backed it at this point. You know, you sit here in your professional life and represent immigrants, you represent issues of due process. When you hear something like this, what's your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a serious proposal. It's clearly not a serious proposal. And by making light of the situation, by acting in such a non-serious way, they're really sort of squandering any good faith they have, even with, the Supreme Court, which historically gives the government so much benefit of the doubt, so much good faith. As the judge in Maryland said today, this is about good faith and bad faith, and it's hard to find good faith when all of the cabinet secretaries are going on TV saying we're not going to follow the orders of the court.
All right, Simon, thank you very much. I appreciate your time on this Friday night.